Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network, where we are 29 live streaming shows proud each and every week. Our show is the Mallorca Connection, and my connection to Mallorca is our star of our show and my co-host, Mr. Roland FRIEDL. Let's welcome him to the program.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Great to see you again.
Nice to see you also, Roland. I'm just so enamored with your lifestyle. You just decided to change and go full on wireless, living from your motorhome, and you look better than ever.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I get some color. I mean, it's a beautiful weather here. It's sunny here. I'm right now in South France on the Atlantic coast, very close to the Spanish border. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful weather, high waves, so it's a surfer paradise, so cool people around me, and it's a lot of fun. And we talked a little bit the backstage show. Yesterday I had the pleasure to cook for 8 adults and 5 kids, and a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And actually, I guess we never talked about it. I have a little bit gypsy blood from my mom's side. And today I was delivering a 3-day workshop, or actually the whole week and next week, for a US company from 9 to 12. Then I was feeding the dog. Then I went to the beach, and afterwards I had some coaching sessions with some other executive managers from other companies. And I said, I had a 3 hours break. And I said, okay, let's go to the beach. And I said, man, when you were in the city, what would I do in the 3 hours? Sit at home, sit in the office, get a coffee? Here you could just go to the beach, go for a swim, go for a surf, and then you shower, dress up, and you continue your work. So I absolutely love this lifestyle. Absolutely.
I mentioned it looks great on you. Will you go back to life that you knew at some other point in it where you're not driving around and living wirelessly?
Well, I'm a person, I always say never, because you never know. I have no idea. Right now, I'm quite happy like it is, so I don't have much. Well, I have some plans, to be honest, but I have no timetable. I will settle down again for sure, yes. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I will look for a piece of land where I can harvest my own food, my own fruits, vegetables, like a permaculture fruit garden, maybe some chicken and stuff like that. Yes, I will, but to be honest, right now, no idea where and when.
All right. You don't have to know anything except what you know right now, right? For how you're going to live. We've got a great topic today, how to be a self-determined and sovereign person. You brought another wonderful guest. Before we bring him out, I would love for you to share with our ever-growing global audience a little bit about your background and the work that you're doing on this network and off this network.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you. Yeah, hello to everyone, wherever you are joining us on a TV station, whatever platform, or even on radio worldwide. More than welcome. My name is Roland. And as you recognize from my accent, I'm not a Native American or British English speaker. I'm raised and born in a small country in the middle of Europe, in Austria, a beautiful small country, which I left very early because I was always traveling around. I was very eager to see other countries, but not on vacation, sitting on a hotel in a pool. Now, to get in contact with people, with cultures, learn about their behavings, learn about their, as I say, culture, their religion, how they cook food and stuff like that. So I really loved it. I was always traveling, and and I always, to be honest, I had a normal career, school, university, corporate world. And, when you're young, you have always these dreams. And then you go to university, you get your first job. And I had my family, married, kids, and you get in this treadmill. And then you forget about your dreams. And one day, I'll never forget, I was driving to the office. And I said, what the hell I'm doing here? was this I'm dreaming of when I was a kid? I mean, I made a hell of money, but I said, no, this is not. So I changed it. No, I decided, no, I left corporate world. I started my own businesses, but the goal of the business was always to build up independent businesses where I can bring wherever I am. Yeah, so I said I never open a shop where I have to open and close, or really a location. I want to build up a business that is working worldwide. Wherever I want to live or travel, I can bring it with me. So I had different businesses, and what I'm doing right now to make a living is I have since over 2.5 decades and 25 years, I have a very successful consulting and training company where we train big international clients. If you want to learn more, go on my website, rolandfriedl.com, and from there you click on my Partner Performance website, and you see all those international clients we're working for. This really I love absolutely to support these people. That's what I did today, as I said, from 9 to 12 online. And yeah, besides that, I would say I'm a human being, first of all. I'm a man, I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, by the way. So I started to work with men together because I found out I had to and still do face challenges as a man. And I found out that all my business friends face the same challenges. We don't, I used to talk about our inner world, our emotions, what really triggers us and stuff like that. So I started men's group some years ago. And this brings me to USO Global TV. So besides the Mallorca connection, I'm very happy that I host my own show with an amazing panel with guys from different parts of the world, different cultural, religion backgrounds, business backgrounds. And every Wednesday, if you want to join us, guys out there, or even ladies, if you want to hear more about us, men, we have really cool topics every time, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or noon Pacific Standard Time, or 9 p.m. Central European Time. The show is called Wild at Heart, Real Authentic Uncut, a show for men, by men, about men, here on USA Global TV. I absolutely love the show. Then, of course, on the Tuesdays, the Mallorca Connection, every Tuesday, like right now, we have always interesting guests. To be honest, I'm a little bit selfish. I do it also for myself, not only for you, honest, because I also learn a lot from these amazing people we're talking about, our guest today also. Then afterwards, if you want to stay tuned, I do my Talking Head show after 6 weeks break. It's just a commercial one. If you run a business, doesn't matter, it's a international corporation or you have a single entrepreneur, you can learn a lot. So afterwards, stay tuned. After this show, I do my Talking Heads. And coming soon, I start with the Earth Show, an environmental show. It's my second passion, besides men's work, is protecting and respecting Mother Earth. Coming soon. I guess that's all. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for everything that you do for me. You're an incredible mentor. You've given me a lot of great guidance and direction. Please do reach out to Roland, rolandfriedl.com. Roland, you've brought a number of really interesting, dynamic people here to this particular show, and you've got another one here joining us today. So tell us a little bit about Daniel Dick.
Yeah, Daniel Dick. Actually, we already had him on the show in March. I guess it was the 22nd of March when I remember from my preparation. And well, how I met Daniel Dick. That's what I love. Besides all these negative impacts of social media and all this technology and stuff like that, is I had made a contact with a guy I saw on an online webinar, Kevin Orwish. And he does also an amazing work with men's. And I get in contact with Kevin, and we had it also on the show. Actually, we had it twice, and in the Mallorca Connection, another show. Kevin Orwish was very, very cool, and we've been talking about his book. And one of the core, the three guys are writing this amazing book, Sex, God, and Masculinity. One is Daniel. And he said, hey, he's Austrian like you, or even half Austrian, like me, close to Vienna. So the next time I flew to Vienna, I called Daniel, we met. And to be honest, it was, I don't know how, if Daniel can confirm it, but it was just a connection, a really good connection. And we had some good talks. And I remember when I came this year again to Vienna, we met him again outside of Vienna. And I really enjoy this guy. And actually, we met on the men's festival again. I had the option or opportunity to join his lectures, and his workshop was really, really cool. I learned a lot, especially I maybe you can hear backstage Daniel about the king and the warrior. I learned so much about myself. And yeah, and actually the last time it was a really, really good conversation. And I said, okay, let's bring him back on the show and have an amazing topic: how to become a self-determined person. Because I guess right now, with all this crisis, is also insecurities. People are so fearful. On the other hand, some are very manipulated. Some are, I don't know what to do. I guess it's so important to become a self-determined person. So I'm very looking forward about this topic. So let's bring him on stage.
Welcome to the show, Daniel. Nice to see you again.
Hello, good to see you both. Thank you for having me here.
Hi, my dear friend. Hi, my dear friend.
I just want our audience to know that we'll be dropping the link to purchase your book, Sex, Masculinity, God, and we'll be dropping that very soon for people to go ahead. So I know we have this topic that we're going to be speaking about today, which is self-determination and a sovereign person. And I think to some people, they might say, oh, I'm determined, but then they're always quitting. Right? And people think determination is like a shirt you put on or a hat you put on. I'm going to take it off now, but it actually takes a lot of work. So what have you found in your experience, Daniel?
Well, actually, my first experience about being really self-determined was when I joined the protests of the universities, because we were occupying the university main hall for almost a year. And that kind of made me a political person and overthrow everything that I thought would be possible till now, because at that point, everything could be put onto question, and you can decide it in a group of people. How do you make it? Do you want to make it different? And this is where I really started to organize it to different communities, different conferences and institutions on the same level, that I tried to involve everyone that was that wanted to participate in it, and made them also kind of a self-determined person by giving them also the responsibility, but also the chance to think about what they really want. And I think that's one of the key initial points where I became aware how many people are just on an autopilot and are not self-determined. And I mean, many people might think they are self-determined, but they might have like also emotional and historical patterns that they just follow and didn't question them. Many people might think they are self-determined, but actually they do work that they don't like. And also in relationships, you find always like constitutions where you make maybe a compromise, but actually you don't really want to make it like this, and you adopt against your will to something else. And especially nowadays, where we have so much insecurities and so on, so many people are looking for solutions out of the crisis that we have, the energy crisis, we have the crisis of lacking faith in the news and so on. So self-determination is going to be a major topic, because people want to be happy, and if people can do their own choices, people are happy. And these are kind of like my key points that I want to make, that self-determination on one hand is something very individual, that you have to work on your emotions, on your past and so on. It's very psychoanalytical. It is something that you have to talk and always rearrange and interact with your closest community. But it's something also very needed on a global scale if we look into our crisis.
Daniel, you said something very important. You said, okay, question yourself at one point, and then the second was what I take with me is we always compromising. And I know that, and you also said people believe that they're self-determined, but they're not because they are compromising. And I know I was in the same situation, building up businesses, having a family, all this excuses. No, I have to stay because of my kids. I have to stay because of, the self lies. And one day I said, no, I have to change because of my kids. That's
Mhm.
something because of them. Not I stay because of them. No, I change because of them. So, can you tell our audience a little bit because some really believe, and I had this belief before too, yeah, to become self-determined and go my own way. And I get this feedback from people who know a little bit about my life. They say, "Yeah, Roland, you're a free and wild person. I cannot do this. You have to break down." Uh, Actually, we don't have to break all bridges behind us to become a self-determined person. We don't have to give up the job. We don't have to give up the family. Uh, can you give a little bit? So, what's the first step when somebody's really finds out, okay, I'm in a treadmill. Yes, I am. Of course, I need a job. I have to pay my rent, my mortgage. I have a family. But what's also the first steps to bring in more to practice?
I mean, there is always like the fear of change. It's uncomfortable. And to change something where you have been feeling yourself comfortable is for everyone a bit uncomfortable. But the other point is that freedom and responsibility usually take like very antagonistic roles. Where you take a responsibility, you bind yourself to whatever you feel responsible to, especially if you have children. You are responsible for them. And if you want to have freedom, you sometimes have to do things because of your responsibility. And in the best case is when you can align these two things together, because only because you're free, it doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want. And this is what shapes your moral aspects, your ethical behavior, and what keeps you away from doing it or feeling even free doing it, you know, is also lots of emotional garbage that you might have stored from things that you have done it because you have done it in the past like this. But the question might be not, are you not free because of you having children, but because you feel it like this. And what does that mean? Why do you feel like obliged or not free? Why didn't you make the choice actually? And why you're not accountable for your choices that you made? So the first question of first of all is like, did you made it voluntarily? This is the first question of all self-determination, because you can do things by your own will. Sometimes you get imposed things by others and you don't stop them from imposing their will on you. This is the very first step. Once you voluntarily agreed with someone to do something, maybe something like a child too, then you had a free choice, and then you are responsible and you have to be accountable for that. But usually people step the very first point and they don't know what they want, they just do.
Hmm, hmm.
Mm.
I,
I
I
I have
have,
a follow.
yeah, please go ahead, and then I will take mine. Please, please.
Okay, thank you. I have a follow question to that. So, what about if you voluntarily entered into something and you realize not a child, but it could be a job, it could be a partnership, it could be with a love relationship, and you realize, okay, this isn't working for me. I'm going to be looking at myself, doing the work, and I'm determined I'm going to extricate myself from the situation. But the other person's not letting it go so easily. They're making your life a living nightmare. Maybe, and we've had you've heard about situations like this, and it doesn't just have to be money. It could be your reputation. It could be mentally. They're just doing everything they can to get you off your game. What do you do in that case?
Yeah, it's always life is changing, and suddenly things happen that you don't want anymore, But then we come to the first step again. They doing something that you don't agree upon. So the first thing is like, do you let it happen or not? Can you talk about it, and how you even can talk about it to change the situation? Like the first step that holds you back from letting your will being imposed by another will is actually really these patterns of emotional patterns that you might carry with you. And the second step is actually communication. In the first step, where you are able to talk about things, where you see, okay, you want to change something, there's something I want, there's something someone else wants, but the point where you have done your work and you know what you want, and you have the will consciously, then you have to talk. And the question here is that talking in itself can give you a lot of knowledge, and also if you're able to change the perspective and you have methods to talk very efficiently, usually there is kind of like a good resolution to that. And the good resolution doesn't have to be that you stick together. The good resolution can be, okay, I got you, you're going to do that, and I'm going to do that. I don't believe that consensual agreements has to be in every case, because otherwise we wouldn't have any diversity of whatever we are doing. But for some things, you need a team or a partner to make a family or in work, etc. So when you're working, at least you have to have a number of maximum 30 people where you really agree upon everything that you do. Over this number, a consensual agreement is very, very difficult and not productive, because there are not so many people that can talk to each other and agree upon something and work together on the same thing.
Mm.
There it is better to split, have groups by 10, 15 people, and get organized in that way.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. It's just a follow-up comment to your point. I think it's interesting that when we realize that we want to do something else, we want that other person to approve it and say, okay, you're breaking up with me, you don't love with me. That's great. Congratulations. I hope it all works out well. And, and that doesn't happen so easily if the other person hasn't done their work or doesn't realize, hey, they're just not that into you.
Yeah.
I just made this experience when I broke up my relationship the last time.
Yeah. Actually, I have to tell, my last relationship actually went like this. It was like, you have your path and I have mine. And somehow, if we really just stay on this path, it's just not coming together. It was really sad because it was nothing personal. It was not personal at all. It was just, yeah, I really love you, and there is love and there's much appreciation, but the person, but just the pathway is just divergating. And if we stick together, you won't be happy with what I'm doing, and I won't be happy with what you're doing, because if we're really true to ourselves, it's not working out.
I had the same experience with my last relationship. You know this beautiful lady. I still love her, but it's not working together. She's not happy. I'm not happy. So the best way when we really love the person is let go. Yeah, and keep a friendship if possible. Maybe work together and keep a friendship, but not lovers. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Daniel, I have a question for what you mentioned before. To become a self-determined person, you said a free will is important, and what means, as you also said, it's not about I don't do everything I want. It's more about I don't have to do what I don't want. That's what my interpretation is. To be honest, I'm getting older. Next week, 58. I'm thinking a lot about free will. And I try to reflect a lot, and this triggered me when you said free will is, and I think about what is really my free will and what is just comes out of me because of education, because of battles from the past, because of religious background, society. What is really free will? Is it really free will? What is your opinion? Is there a free will?
I think there is a free will, but once you know the decision that you're taking, you choose ethical, and then you have to choose one thing. So the free will is also following the rules, or following ethics. And this is a paradox in itself, but that's how most of the things in the universe are constructed, in certain paradox. The more you're free, actually, the more you bow down to the laws of the universe.
Okay, because you know what? Sometimes when I have to make a decision, I'm talking about, okay, I make a decision, and sometimes afterwards I reflect, if I would have been had a Muslim background and I would live in a Muslim country, or I would have been a Buddhist and living in Asia, would I have made the same choices? Yes or not? Is it really my free will, or is it really I made this choice because I live in Europe, I have a Christian education, even I'm not more a member of the sect, but that's what really, or doesn't it make any sense to have thoughts like that? What do you think, as an
I
expert?
mean, for sure, someone else would have another decision, and the free will comes also with your mind being free of conception, your identity being actually free from any identity itself. Also, the range of change that you're able to do on a free basis is also free from your past. And also, when it comes not only to your lifetime, you have a genetic heritage. So most traumas are also transposed from your generations upon to you. And usually people that are already very good, that have looked to the past and release a lot of trauma, usually they start looking into the generational traumas. They look, okay, what is the trauma that my grandmother had and my grandfather and so on, and how these traumas has been continued and so on, and you can stop that. But this is like all the work that you can do personally to become a free person. That means you're free from your past, you're free from any identity that you cling to, saying, okay, I'm Daniel, I'm anthropologist, I'm this, I'm that, It's this is where I become very Buddhist. I'm very Buddhist affine, is that not even any thought that you have has to be yours. It's not you. But if you can hold like the direct perception, that means the here and now perception, without any concept that you have learned through language, through your education, through your identity. If you just can hold the perception of the here and now and see what the situation is, then you can make a very well informed, without any prejudice, decision based on the situation itself. This is a quite free will,
Thank you, Daniel. I have a question, which is, when we think of sovereign ruler, we think of a person who has the power, right? And would you say, as an extension to that, a sovereign person is the same as a sovereign citizen?
A citizen is already in the state. So usually you don't choose your state. This is not a sovereign person if he didn't choose his state. And a sovereign citizen is a sovereign person that chose his state. That is how I would put it.
Thank you for that. So I'm going to go over to Roland also. So to me, when I think of sovereign, it's sort of, I'm the one, I have the power, no one else matters, nothing else matters. So if we're all walking around with that mindset, it reminds me of bumper cars. You get in those cars and you crash into other people. Yes. So where am I off base?
I mean, this is what I said is at the beginning. To have a free will, be sovereign, doesn't mean that you can do everything that you want. Actually, usually life works like this. If you do what you want, you bump into each other. And I mean, power is a very good term in here that I had to think about, thinking about this conversation. Because power usually involves influencing others. We always influence each other, but the question is how, and if we cross a line in power over someone or empowering each other. So if we cross a line and we just bump into the line, then we have these cars that we're just bumping and everybody does what he wants and everybody just steers in the way that he wants to steer and wherever he wants to steer. But the beauty about self-determined persons, when they come together and they really achieve to have a healthy communication, is that they empower each other. If you have only one self-determined person and sovereign person, and he's got like a great idea and he does it, he influences and has the power by himself, influences the other, and the other doesn't know what he wants and he just joins, he just follows. And for some sort, I mean, at some point this is okay, because sometimes we have other people that know very well what they do, what they want to do at some certain topic. So others want to learn and therefore they follow. Or they just think that's great, so I'm just following, But if it comes to a dependency where they don't have a free will anymore, then we run into problems. This is when the tyrant becomes like too hungry with the power that he gets from his followers. And the basic line in here, and this is something very difficult actually to reach if you are a sovereign person, to not overthrow the sovereignty of someone else, but to find a way to empower them. And this is when the ruler becomes the server. This is when the king is the slave itself. This is one of the other paradoxes. The king is one of the most enslaved person because he has all the responsibility and he doesn't just choose usually a good king what he ever wants to do. He does what the people want from him. But what I believe is that everybody should become a king for himself and is acknowledge a lot of kingdoms. But I found in my personal life that the most beautiful things always came out if you have a bunch of sovereign people and you can talk to each other what to do, and you find strength to have like several people just being the ones that are leading the course. There's everybody in the lead. And this is very strong and this makes very happy. And you get results from such a group of people that you never have been thinking of being possible, because you're not the only one in the lead. It's like you have someone else in the lead and he just can inspire you by what he is in the lead. It takes sometimes a bit of more time, especially at the beginning, to get like a common ground. But at the end, this is a very, very fruitful results. In other cases, like in the military, where you usually have one lead and everybody is following, the things usually happening, or things are happening because there's no time, because you need efficiency in time and resources. But for me, it's kind of like in agriculture. You got like the efficiency with the way using chemicals. You do it everybody equal and only monocrops, and then things just die. The soil dies. If you do permaculture, where you have like different things, and you use the diversity to empower one and the other plant, it might take some time that you have very fruitful results, but they're more long lasting. And the diversity makes everything more rich, and also the people just more happier. It's where more energy comes about, but you need at the beginning a lot of communication.
Absolutely. Then to become self-determined, with actually what is going on in the world, there are some people who really are, I wouldn't say awake, but they don't sleep anymore. They question the stuff. They don't believe what mass media is bringing because they know that it's just manipulation. And it is like it is. My personal feeling is that more and more people come together and looking for alternative ways in communities, living together, growing stuff like growing their own food, like permaculture, fruit gardening, whatever it is. But what do you think, or what is your advice when you say, okay, I don't want to follow any more these rules? I see there's a really threat of freedom. Some people don't see it. I had a discussion with some friends who said, we have the best life ever, I said, no, we have the most convenient life ever, because we don't walk, we ride a car, we have I don't know, a fridge, we have a dishwasher, whatever. We become lazy, it's convenient, but we are not a free person. So, but for those who realize what's going on backstage, what you see worldwide, we more and more we go in a tyranny, and there's more manipulation and censorship. I got censored almost every month on Facebook on one of my sites, and it's cool for me because I know that I do the right stuff. But what is your advice for people who look out and say, hey, I'm questioning it, is it better to go your own way, or find, I'm not a fan of a community, I want to live self-determined and not always discussing everything, because what I see in communities, there's a lot of ego stuff still going on when ego work is not done, but what is your advice for those people who say, okay, I want to go an alternative way. I'm not giving up. I don't give in. I don't have any fear. I don't want to manipulate it. What is your advice to do in this moment?
Yeah. I mean, the very first thing is like, get your emotional stuff on the table, work on yourself, and really get rid of these old patterns. This next step is actually what I said is, so find like experimental projects where you can really like prototype how to be self-determined on whatever you do. You can make a party, or you can make like, actually what you do with friends is one of the best ways to learn self-determination. So imagine you can do this, what you do with your friends at work. You choose voluntarily your friends. So organize something together with your friends, whatever that might be. And once you get like better in this, I think the very basic step to become really self-determined is, as you said, get a piece of land and grow your food. Because the basic things that everybody needs is like shelter and something to eat. And especially regarding like the soil that has been like so much exhausted, I think it's very important to get diversity on the soil. And if you have diverse groups of people that are planting their own food, I think that is something that might be in the future, or even in the present, something very important. And once you have a piece of land where you can say, this is where I have, I can say what's going on in here, and you're not in chains with, okay, I have to work because I have to work, because I have to eat, because I have to sleep, and so on. So once you have your basic needs just covered, then you get back to the first or the second step, where you're just hanging out with friends and you think about what you want to do together, and then empower the people. The next thing is actually the third thing, or the fourth step, would be also to be digitally autonomous and sovereign. And this is where all the crypto and blockchain technology is doing a massive shift to get people self-determined with their finance system, to be self-determined on decision-making grounds on a very huge scale. And this is where I see the possibility that once many people decide for themselves to grow their own food, that they can connect globally through the Web.3 network, which is running on all the chain technologies. But this might be still a long way to go, but that's kind of the roadmap that I see also for myself.
Okay. What about people, who always, sometimes I'm on Facebook and then I see all these people always bringing this negative news and this negative news and this negative news. And I sometimes say, why you focus on negative stuff? It's not about, seeing everything in this rose-rosy brilliant, like we say in German. Yeah, it's not about that.
Yeah.
But some people are so focused on negative stuff. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's easier, For example, take, these, just when you just put one stone above the other, it's so hard to put them up. And you need only fingertip to throw them down. One thing is easier, the other one is beautiful. That's why it's hard to build something up. It's hard to keep relationships going, to empower other people. That's why you work hard and you get like one back throw and it throws you back 7 times what you have worked hard, But this is how life goes on, and this is how life succeeds anyways.
Good analogies. Thank you. We do have a comment from someone watching on YouTube, Sabrina. Thank you for discussing this valuable topic. I really like the metaphor of the leading king or queen.
Yes.
Thank you for watching and commenting.
Yeah,
Roland, I'm gonna give the last question to you as we wrap up for your Talking Head show.
When you look back to your old life, Daniel, what's the most significant change or value or fruit you got from becoming self-determined?
I mean, life doesn't get easier if you become self-determined. It's not comfortable. You keep changing. You keep searching. And you're always tested. And you always get in chains again and you break free again. And you just follow this wind of freedom, Once you have tasted it so much, you don't come back to it so easily. You don't forget it so easily. So it's kind of a blessing and a curse too. But the more you tasted that, the more you want to experience like how far can it get. And I think the most beautiful things is just it just makes you happy. But the more you also can bring this to other people, the more happiness you're able also to give for the people. And then people just don't conform with what they have had before. It's like you give someone to see in color and they have seen just black and white before. You don't go back to black and white. I mean, sometimes you do if you're a photographer and you like being retro, but actually I always have chosen freedom, but yeah, it's not easy, and it just keeps you changing.
Well, there
Thank
you
you so
have it.
much.
Yeah, you've given us a lot to think about. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
And we-
you for having these wonderful questions and inspirations also for me. Yeah, I'm actually also thinking about organizing a conference on these different topics, because I see very often people that work like on the individual, but don't have any idea about blockchain technology. Or I see people that work on a permaculture community level, but they don't do the emotional stuff, and so on. So my aim is to bring this together, and it's has been a wonderful reflection also for me to prepare myself for this talk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let us know the details if you have the conference. We'd love to help you promote it.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Where can people contact you? We've had the banner up for your book and also for your website, but for people who are listening on the radio or later on a podcast, you have a special offer. How can people reach out, and who would you like to contact you?
I mean, the best and easy thing is actually also to get my email. I'll put it here into this private chat. Here. And this is the most easy and best way to contact me. Can you put it on the slide? It's DACKD.
Yes, got it right there.
86@gmail.com.
I took typing in high school, so we got it right there. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I just had to copy and paste. You typed it. So if you could just read that for people on the radio, that would be great.
Yeah. DACKD0486@gmail.com. Any comments, any ideas? If you just want to work also on one of these topics together, I'm very delighted to hear from you.
Thank you very much, Daniel. We wish you all the best, and come back and see us again.
Thank you. See you next time with an amazing topic. Awesome conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear friend. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Roland, for bringing Daniel back to the platform. I really appreciate it. And your Talking Heads show is starting in less than 3 minutes, my friend. So please tell our audience how they can reach out to you.
Well, the best way is go on my website. It's rolandfriedl.com. My name, I will spell it for those who are on a podcast on the radio. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com. And from there, you can link to all the other websites depending on what topic you're interested in. I'm more than happy if you contact me, whatever you want to discuss or reflect. If you need any support, any advice on any topic, I'm more than happy to connect with you, because it's all about connecting and sharing and caring. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. And I misspoke. It's actually 12 minutes. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was shocked a little bit.
You're like, what? I've got to get myself together. All right. Well,
it was a wonderful show. I really enjoyed this conversation with Daniel. Absolutely.
I did too. Yes. Lots of things to think about.
Absolutely.
So, all right. I'll see you in the other studio in a few minutes.
Yes. See you later. Thank you so much for having us here. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you, everyone, whether you're watching on the live or the replay, or you're listening on the live or the replay. I personally am so grateful to each and every one of you for being here. If you're interested in being part of our team here at USA Global TV and Radio, we are doing our programming for 2023. There are many options. You can be a co-host with me. You can have your own show. You can apply to be a talking head. You can join our elevated listening team. You can start your own panel show. And there's so many other things that we offer. We also offer the ability to create custom songs for you, as well as jingles, and sponsorships. We are looking for people to join us in our mission to provide education to children. So please do reach out. Go to either one of our websites, usaglobaltv.com or drjacalyn.com. I also have my contact information in the chat. So please do feel free to reach out to me as well. We'd always love to hear from our loyal fans. We really do appreciate you. I will be launching on tomorrow, Wednesday, our newsletter, which is called The Global Post. And if you're interested and you haven't subscribed, it's actually a magazine, and it features not only our team members and our guests, but also some of our loyal followers. And it's grown so much that we actually are moving to a website, which is theglobalpostmagazine.com. We're in the process of getting that out there, and we'd love to showcase you and your work, whether you've been on this platform or not. We're all about helping other people. So again, do reach out. Look for the information over in the chat. Thanks for now. I'll be right back producing the show backstage with Roland FRIEDL. Bye.